Everyone starts Hollow Knight Silksong with the same 5 masks, which means Hornet can take 5 points of damage before she folds. By the end of the game, you can double that HP by collecting Mask Shards. Every 4 shards gives you a full new mask, which means there are 20 total pieces to collect. Before we get started, here's a spoiler warning. This video will cover maps and moments from the entirety of the game. It also assumes you've gotten all the necessary power-ups. Now let's get those masks. The first Mask Shard is available at the beginning of the game. Peb in Bonebottom sells it for 300 rosaries. That price might feel a little steep so soon in the game, but you can farm enemies near the bench in Mossholm, the area directly above Bonebottom. You'll need to visit Mossholm for the next shard anyway. Once you have the dash ability, you can use it to cross the cages in the southwestern corner of the zone, then continue dashing in the next room to avoid the puking bug. Once you pass through the next door, drop down the first hole you see. Smash the breakable wall down here to find the shard. The next one is in Deep Docks, but you'll need the cling grip from the Shellwood before you can get it. Once you have that, exit the upper part of the marrow indicated here. Make your way across the platforms to find an enemy gauntlet. Once you win that, you'll find a shard on the other side of the door. This one's in Far Fields, by the Seamstress. After unlocking the Drifter's Cloak, ride the wind currents and strike the magma rocks above the Seamstress's balloon. Fly to the top left corner of the room, then make your way through the next chamber. The Mask Shard is hidden under another magma rock in here. There's another shard in Far Fields, but you'll need the claw line. I recommend the Fade-Down Cloak as well, since a double jump will come in handy here. At the spot marked on the map is a skull. Head inside and carefully make your way down the spiked tunnels and crumbling platforms. Beneath them is another enemy gauntlet with sinking platforms and hot lava. This is a tough fight, but it doesn't end there. Once you win, all that lava will start to rise. You'll have to make your way back up those platforms and tunnels without getting burned. When you get back to the entrance, you'll be able to ride the hot air up to a higher ledge where the Mask Shard will finally be yours. The next shard is technically found in Bellhart, but it'll bring you back to Far Fields. If you've beaten the Savage Beastfly in Hunter's March, then you'll have a side quest on the Bellhart wish board. It's called Grand Hunt Savage Beastfly, and yes, that does mean you have to fight that annoying boss again. This time it'll be found in the same spot where you encountered the 4th chorus. This Beastfly has all the same attacks, but this time his body slam will make the platforms temporarily sink into the lava. Additionally, it'll only summon one kind of enemy, but this one spits a fiery rock that explodes after a moment. This battle requires a lot of jumping, gliding, and pogoing, but if you come to it later in the game, you might actually find it easier than the first fight. I personally did. Take the Beastfly's horn back to the board in Bellhart to claim your prize. We're headed to the Shellwood for the next one. You're going to the tall room marked here. Pogo your way up the white flowers, then exit to the right. Platform your way through the next room and punch through the breakable walls to nab another Mask Shard. Come back to the blasted steps after unlocking the claw line and the double jump, and you can find another shard. Head to the bottom left part of the zone here. You'll need to do a tricky sprint jump, followed by a claw line shot, then your double jump to reach this high ledge. From here, work your way up to reach an upper room full of wall-crawling enemies, spikes, and falling rocks. Yeah, this room sucks, but if you can get to the top left corner, you'll score another shard. This Mask Shard is easy to find, but tough to actually collect. After defeating the Cogwork dancers, drop down into the core. From the bench, enter the first door on the left. This path leads to a gauntlet against some tricky clockwork enemies, but after that, you'll be able to grab the shard past the next shaft. Shard 10 is for sale, but not right away. Songclave is a settlement around the first shrine in the top right part of the Coral Chambers. When you first visit, it'll be pretty empty, but more pilgrims will arrive after you ring the bell and progress further in the game. When that happens, grab the Wandering Merchant wish from the board. We've marked the merchant Jubliana's location here, but you can also track her scent via the piles of goods found in the area. Clear the enemies and talk to her, and she'll return to Songclave. At that point, you can buy the shard from her for 750 rosaries. We're halfway there. This Mask Shard is found in Whispering Vaults. It's in a room under the bench, but you'll need to head to the room under that one to actually reach it. This lower room has a hidden trapdoor you can free by slashing up into the curtains. Now jump up to the small connecting room in between, and you'll be able to smack the box into its higher position. This will let you reach the mask piece above. I hope you like tricky platforming and prisons. Once you've acquired the Key of Apostate and the Putrefied Ducts, you can open this large room across from the upper bench in the slab. To reach the top of the room, stand on the switch to activate a buzzsaw. Use your jumps and pogos to ride it to the higher walls and hanging saws. When the moving saw rounds the last corner, use the claw line to snap to it and bounce to this tricky shard. This next one is actually pretty easy to get, but you'll need to scale Mount Fey for the Fey Down Cloak first. Then return to the southwestern bench at the base of the mountain. You'll see the Mask Shard floating in a column outside here. Use your new double jump to get inside the column and wall jump your way up to it. Weavenest Alta can be accessed by playing the needle in at the door on the right side of the starting area, Moss Grotto. Reactivate the teleporter and zip down to the lower floor. Now use your wall jumps on the right side of the room to work your way back up the teleporter shaft manually. Exit to the right and follow the path to eventually reach a breakable wall leading to a lava chamber. Work your way through the room to get the Mask Shard above. Wisp Thicket is an entirely optional area that lets you move from Greymoor to the Underworks, and it has its own Mask Shard. From the bench, continue up and to the right, pogoing off the Wisp lanterns. Continue to the east, past the enemies and traps, to find this shard at the end of the zone. If you thought that last one was tricky, strap in. Bilewater is probably the most hated area in all of Silksong, but you'll need to trudge through it to get this Mask Shard. Above the room where you can find Chakra is another long passage. You'll need to follow this all the way to the end, but that's easier said than done. The path is full of slubberlugs, which are like nightmare versions of Super Mario Cheep Cheeps. They leap out of the water and deal damage, but they also try to dunk you into the dirty water, taking away your ability to heal until you clean up. It'll take some determination, but you'll find your Mask Shard at the end of this awful tunnel. The remaining Mask Shards are found only in Act 3, but I'm not going to get into the weeds with unlocking that in this video. See our wiki on IGN for the requirements, then head to the Farfields for the next piece. At the spot marked here, you'll find Sprint Master Swift, a very fast bug who will challenge you to 3 races. They get increasingly harder, but your prize for winning the last one is another Mask Shard. If it takes a few tries, don't worry. You can always reset the race by playing your needle in. Once you've talked to the Snail Shamans in Act 3, a new wish will appear on the board in Bellhart. Accept it to start another grand hunt, this time for a boss called Gur the Outcast. You'll find him at this spot in the far fields. This is Act 3, so you should expect the hardest bosses, Gur included. He moves fast, and he likes to burrow into the ground and pop up with dangerous spike traps. When you win the fight, you can claim the grass doll he was defending and return it to the wish board for another Mask Shard. Once you begin the Act 3 quest The Old Hearts, another wish will become available here. This one tasks you with destroying a dozen Void Hearts, which can be found all across the map in Act 3. Any 12 will do, and you'll come across plenty as you continue to explore. I've marked the closest ones to Bellhart here for your convenience. You'll get another Mask Shard once you finish the cleanup. The final mask piece is found back on Mount Fey, but you'll need the Silksong ability to reach it. Once you've been to the Abyss and unlocked it, head to this spot in the Ice Caves. You might have noticed the opening in the ceiling when you were here before. Use Silksong to shoot yourself up there. Once you clear the platforming challenge in here, you can nab the final Mask Shard and complete your collection. And with that, you'll have all 20 Mask Shards and maximum health. It was a long journey, but we made it. For all the other quests and many collectibles that Silksong has to offer, keep it locked at IGN.